Welcome back to another edition of Power Tips. Today, we are going to focus on the great, wonderful, unknown world to me of contact center. So if you tuned in last week, we asked where are all those customer service features at? They're in the contact center. So let's dive in. I'm going to start and I'm going to talk about the agent that's included here because I feel like we're in this agentic world where agents first and AI first. So we should know about this one that's coming up. It's called the Customer Intent Agent. Actually sounds ridiculously cool. So this allows the AI agent to act autonomously across channels. Isn't that amazing? And we're talking voice channels and chat channels. It will, I put some bullet points here to kind of help us understand what this looks like. It will analyze your past conversations and cases, and it will build an intent library. I kind of like tried to pull out these words that I think are going to be important. So I feel like there's going to be some library that gets auto-generated, which hopefully we can override and make changes to that we might want it to do. So the agent will discover the intent, match it to that thing in the library, and then it's going to use that library to ask follow-up questions to the client on phone and on chat, provide articles, and take actions to resolve customer issues end to end. Very cool. It mentions that it's more powerful when combined with connectors. Of course, everything's more powerful when you add some Power Automate joy in there. They have these use cases directly from the notes: trigger refunds, update order status, query your inventory system. And there is an escalation path in this agent to take you to the case management agent, which you can play with today in customer service. And that would bring in the email channel if needed. It says this will be configured in the Copilot Admin Center. And then this is the first time I've seen this. Tell me if you've seen this before, but I put it in quotes here. Consumption-based billing model on top of your base license for the Dynamics 365 Contact Center, which is the first time I remember seeing anything about agents being an additional cost. Public preview says July, but here we are in mid-August and it's not in public preview yet. And GA says October. So what do y'all make of this? There's also no screenshots at all.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. I'd like to see this working, and I'd like to understand how it actually can take all those actions end to end, and like you said, how that's configurable and maybe what changes we can do there, especially when I would think a lot of these items like refunds, even as the example here, there's multiple steps, some of which might not be within the contact center, right? They might be using other tools. So I'm going to be curious how that works. And obviously curious about the billing model, especially because this wasn't the only agent mentioned in the release notes. I don't think we're talking about the feedback agent, which I did see in there, but we're moving more and more to focusing on these different agents. So if this is a change to the licensing, then that is going to be interesting.
Interesting.
It is curious. Yeah, that to your point, this is the only one that you've seen it on. I haven't seen it either on that messaging on agents, but in terms of the Microsoft provided agents, but the Copilot Studio, if you're building your own kind of stuff, it's all about consumption and you have to have your Azure subscription shored up and all that stuff. So I guess it makes sense in that, but it is interesting that they're going to roll out agents and then say, here's this great thing, but you're going to have to pay for it, which I guess they do all the time. But I like this. This to me speaks to the whole concept of using AI as a general tool to make yourself better, not to necessarily do things for you. So that's a whole rabbit trail that we could go down that we probably shouldn't. But I know there's a lot of naysayers like, hey, we're smart people and we shouldn't need AI to do things. And I think that's a slightly closed-minded way of looking at it. I think there's a lot of potential to help us do things better. And this is a good example, I think, where it can prompt with follow-up questions or ask follow-up questions, do some of this work, trigger refunds. I'm hoping trigger refund approvals, not the actual refunds, because I see all kinds of red flags there. But that kind of concept of like, just help take care of things that we don't need to do as humans necessarily, so we can reorient our time to be more strategic. I think that makes good sense. So this is interesting. I like it.
It is interesting. Also, That made me think this will be really interesting from the consumer perspective too. If this is what organizations are going to begin to adopt, we're never going to talk to a real person.
Well, so the totally ironic and hilarious part about this, I literally in the last hour read an email from my son's orthodontist who said, "Meet Kelly, our new AI assistant, and she can help." They said she can help by scheduling appointments. She'll tackle things when we're not here, when we're busy with other patients and all that. And so
Yep.
funny that this comes up because I don't know that they're using this tool per se, but this concept of customer service via agent is, I mean, that's not really new, but we're starting to see a new horizon on it for sure. It's cool. Huh. I'll keep talking. So block capacity. So truthfully, I'm at arm's length with most of the contact center stuff. I have personally haven't worked in it directly. So these are just things that I combed through. I think they might have made a typo because it seems like everything's going to come out in October, which is going to make for a hectic October. But maybe that's just copy and paste error. Who knows? But the two that I picked are things that I think make a lot of sense because they just do. So this one, blocking capacity for consultative conversations. So if I'm working in a call center and I need to consult with one of my colleagues or some of my colleagues about something, and I do that, while I'm engaged in that, it's actually going to shut down, if you turn it on, shut down my capacity so that I don't take on new things. Because the impression I get is if I didn't have that option, I'm dealing with an issue and it thinks I'm available and therefore layers in a new call, even though I'm in the midst of trying to deal with something else that's not like live in the moment. So this makes sense to me. Like put a pause if I'm consulting, put a pause on my capacity so I don't get a bunch of new stuff come in because I'm actually in the midst of dealing with something. Seems logical to me. So no public preview, just straight to GA in October.
They don't need a preview for that. They know it's a win.
Yeah, I agreed. And then this one also just a thing that, so apparently previously you could manage this by this timer. You could set up a timer for the wrap up of the conversation by minutes, and they've introduced the ability to do that more granularly now by seconds. What I don't know, I see 30 seconds in the screenshot. I don't know if it's literally you can pick what you want. I don't think so because that's a drop down. So my guess is it's 15, 30, 45 options, but that's totally a guess. It's not written anywhere. Maybe they let you go everything from 1 to 0 or 1 to 60, 59. I don't know, but either way, that seems like an interesting thing because when you read the write-up on it, it talks about reducing idle time for an agent. So if I finish something and the timer is set to a minute, I could literally be sitting there for a minute, which doesn't sound like a long time, but in the realm of like efficiency and keeping people moving and routing a new case to me, it literally is a game of seconds. So I get it. And so it seems stressful to me, but that's why I'm not in the customer service seat because that's terrifying. So yeah, August 2025, which is where we are right now. So we'll see if it actually hits GA at that time. I assume it will. It seems like it's just a field.
Yeah. Seems like they can get this done, no problem, for sure.
Sure, it's easy.
I want to talk about enhanced real-time translation. So, all of us are working in a lot of remote scenarios, right? We're working with people all over the country and all over the world. And so now we even are seeing that in our call centers. So we have agents who could be talking with people who speak many different languages, right? So I can set a default language for my incoming messages, and I can define that based on my channel. If I have different channels that are dedicated to different languages, and then we can turn on translation, so real-time translation for the conversations happening in that channel, which is email and in chat. It can't be text and chat. We'll come back. So based on that, we also, let me double check. I have it right here. So it will be sending and receiving messages, text messages, and chat, I believe. Anyways, moving on. You can also manually change the language. So if it thinks it's a different language, when you're sending or receiving, you can change the language to ensure it's the right one. And then you have the ability to show hide the original and translated text. So you can check what's happening there. So this says both public preview and generally available in October 2025. So kind of sounds like everything will be coming out, and then Obviously, this is like an AI feature, so encourage you to double check what you're seeing and, be careful with the agents that you're training, that they are aware that there is AI going on here, and also make sure you're providing your feedback. What do you guys think about this?
I love the real-time translation.
Mm.
I feel like it's phenomenal. I've seen it in Teams meetings, right? Like you can see the real-time translation when people are talking. So having this everywhere in the tech stack is a big win in my book.
Totally agree. I don't have anything to add. Totally agree.
It's going to be exciting. And lastly, this kind of goes with Malcolm talking about consultations. So there's going to be a way to help you know who you should be consulting on this case, right? So you're working on a case and you select a queue that you want to get a consultation from, and it will be looking at the conversation context and what's going on to help you find the right subject matter expert to be connected with that case for the consult. So kind of greatly improving the process to kind of escalate and get help and do things better, faster, and more efficiently. So I think that'll be really exciting. Obviously, this all relies on your data. So we have to make sure that our cases are clean, they have the right information in there, we know the skills that people have and all of that to power this. But I think this could be really valuable. Also going to be generally available in October.
I think we need a neon light that's PT, and we turn it on when a feature comes across, and that is, somebody mentioned a clear win or definitely a winner.
Yeah.
This to me is one of them, right? Like I would like flash the light or turn it on or something, and we reserve it only for those really big ones. This one to me feels like one of those, because how many times do people have to pull a group in Teams or hit up a group chat and be like, does anybody know blah, 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 that could throw me a helping hand on this?
Yeah.
For this to be able to be like, oh, you're having this problem, you should consult with Susie or Pat.
Yeah.
That's flipping amazing. So this is a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Flipping amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Do you think this is gonna replace swarming? It sounds like what swarming does.
That's still a
Swarming's like the
thing.
Teams group chat is definitely still a thing.
I think
This is
maybe
more
the
intelligent.
improvement, yeah. Instead of pulling in a whole bunch of people to swarm, identify the best person.
Yeah.
I like it.
This is like
I like
new
that.
age swarming.
Yeah.
It's like
Swarming AI.
swarming 2.0.
Yes.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Please let us know down in the comments what your favorite feature was that we talked about and what you want to hear us talk about next. So we'll see you on the next Power Tips.